having the performance issue on non-primary key at
This conference will now be recorded.
So generally, like if we are having the performance issue on non-primary key, at that point of time, we are supposed to create the secondary index. And also we are not supposed to create more secondary index, typically more than 16 secondary index. It is not suggested by the SAP. Okay. So we saw like how to create, and then we try to understand the buffering mechanism, how it works. Some of you requested me to elaborate in a little by pinging on WhatsApp. So maybe I will take one example over here and I will show you how you can enable buffer in your real-time project or in your real-time scenario today. Okay, fine. So we saw there are like buffering is nothing but at application server layer we are having RAM installed over there. So in the RAM directly the buffer, like the data from the database layer, the table which is frequently accessed at the database layer and which is very rarely changed, that we can enable for the buffer, so that we can take the advantage of performance. Because by this way, if your data is at this layer itself, you don't have to fetch the data from here. By this way, your network load is going to get improved, right? So network load, you are reducing the reduced network load. And another benefit is that many time you are putting the select query, or many time you are putting the hit on the database, that hit is going to, that select query is going to get reduced. So hit on the database is going to reduce, and other functionality like other select query will get more bandwidth, more availability of this database, and that's how it's also going to get fast. So hit on the database going to be decreased, because you are going to get the data from buffer directly itself, so no need of coming over here. The important thing to understand over here is that like something got changed over here in database layer. Suppose if you have written some data manipulation query, right? You have used some DML operation, like if you have modified some data in this database table. So what happens that whenever you write, from where you will modify? You will modify directly from here, right? At application server only, with some program or with some table maintenance generator, something like that you will modify. So whenever you are going to modify any entry in a table, for example, let us suppose we are having one table called maybe TSTC. This is also buffer enabled table, which holds information about all the T code. Okay, so this TSTC table is buffer enabled, and now suppose like yeah, so here itself, like AC38 query you are going to run from the application server itself, right? So what happens, this TSTC is your buffer enabled table. Okay, so that AC38 related all the data is going to come into this buffer over here. Okay, similarly, like if you have any table which is buffer enabled, and if we're going to do the changes over there, there is a flag call over here. There is a flag which tells that whether this data in buffer is valid or invalid. Okay, so if it is a valid, that means the buffer and database layer data is in sync. As soon as if we are going to change anything in this database layer, that means if you are going to change anything in the table, the flag is going to invalid over here. And when the next query will run on the application server, it will check whether this flag is valid or invalid. If it is invalid, what it will do, it will not fetch the data from the buffer. It will go and hit the database layer, and it will get the data from database layer, and it will put the fresh data over here in buffer, and it will utilize for our own purpose as well, right? So this flag plays very important role in real time. I will show you today itself. Okay, so and here, like, we have written single record buffer, when to use this one. Generic full buffer, you know already, like when to use this one and what is the significance of this. Maybe I have noted it down with the help of some blog over here. I have given the reference of blog also in this PPT. Okay, so in real time, like how you can do, maybe you can refer this blog if you have to enable the buffer over there. Okay, so let's go to the system and I will show you. Suppose if we have some custom table, maybe uh, I have already created one custom table, and if you think that there are less amount of data, so we don't have to bother about number of records. So CY study, we're talking about that you are having large amount of data, but just check like how much memory it's taking. Number of record is not very important, like the how much amount of data it is containing, like 200 MB, 500 MB, or 1 GB, like that. So in terms of memory, it is important. Okay, so even if it is like 38 lakhs of record, but if you are having some 2 fields or 3 fields only, then you don't have to bother it. Just to check how much memory consumption it's doing, and you can enable the full buffer maybe, or based upon requirement, single buffer or whatever it's going to suit over there. So I'm just going to show you over here. Just a second, I'm trying to log in. Okay, some problem is there, something is wrong. Yeah, now it's fine. Okay, so we have created one table over here, and that table we have created this one, ZMB28. And if we see, just we are thinking about to improve the performance, to enable the buffering, we are thinking about. Generally, it's not a better practice to enable the buffer every time. You have to be careful, but I just showing you in case, in some rare scenario, if you have to enable the buffer, how you can do. So you can go to the technical setting as I have shown you over here, or maybe suppose your requirement is like something, this table, let us suppose this table is a small table, and it is having the like a small table, in the sense it is consuming like 200 MB memory or something, like 500 MB memory, less than 1 GB, means it's a small table, like I think more than 500 MB it's consuming, then you will have to think about it. Okay, but I have seen the table which is going to consume something like 200 MB memory, that is fully buffered. Okay, so 200 MB, 300 MB memory is fine. Okay, so buffering activated, you have to select from here, and from here you can select the fully buffered. I want to get all the data from that table into my buffer. Okay, and based upon if your requirement, you can select single record also, and generic area buffered also, as I have explained yesterday. Fine, just save it over here and activate over here. That's it. This much only we'll have to do, and buffer got activated, and every other thing now will be taken care by the SAP, right? So you don't have to bother about, even if some data is going to be changed, like by default, the SAP will take care. It will start syncing when you are going to put the next query. It will start syncing with the buffer and the application server layer. Okay, so here, I will show you with the help of one program. Let me write one small program. Go to AC38, and when the first time when you are going to write, so ZMB28 buffer, I think already we have created some program. Okay, fine. So come over here, and here now you can see buffering allowed but switched off. No, buffering activated we have to select. We don't have to select this second option. I think by mistake I have selected second one. You have to select the third one, buffering activated and fully buffered. The second option you can see over here, buffering allowed but switched off. This is for just suppose I am as a developer, I am creating this table, okay, and I know that this table is the suitable candidate for buffering. I know how many records can have over here. So this much information I have, so I'm just going to select over here like buffering allowed but switched off. Buffering can be allowed over here, but currently it is a switch off. Okay, we can select this option. So buffering is not enabled over there as of now. Okay, this is the meaning of this. Later it can be enabled. The third option is the actual option. After this, our buffer will get enabled, right? Just go back and let us see if some record is there or not. If it will be not, we will. Okay, we are having some records over here, right? You can see I'm having around 6 records. So now what I'm trying to do over here, I'm going to put the select query, select on this table, right? So ZMB28 student, and I have told you, select control V from, sorry, I'm just going to write here, select a star from this table into and table. I'm going to create one work area, IT underscore table, type table of, this is my table, okay, and give the data keyword over here, and I will give this IT underscore table in order to get the record from this table into this table. So as I told you, when first time you are going to write any kind of select query, even if you write the single select over here or whatever, okay, if it is fully buffered enabled, all the record from this database table is there in the right MySQL database, because in background we are having MySQL database. So, and since this is a transparent table, so there also it would have been created, right, with the same name and with the same field. So just I'm going to select a star from this database table into table IT underscore table, and the first time when it is going to hit the database, what it will do, it will pull all the memory and put into the where put into the buffer, right? It will put into the buffer. This is the internal table, this is not the buffer. Okay, so internal table, like here I'm using this internal table to use the data from this table into my program. Okay, I will explain all these things in our report chapter, just to show you the buffering mechanism. I'm writing all these things. A loop at IT underscore table into, I'm going to create one work area to print the record over here. Data WA type and one work area I'm just going to create. Control work area actually we have, and end loop, and here I'm just going to, so it's very easy to write the code in ABAP because it's a 4th generation language, and here you can see the student ID. I'm just going to print, only I'm going to print a student ID, other is not required as of now. It's fine, just to show you. Activate this one and this program will get activated. Now it got activated. So program got activated means it is it can be run now. Without activation it will not work. Means one active object has been created now, and now it will work fine. So here I want to show you, when first time you will run this one, it will fetch the data from this particular DB table. It will go and fetch the data from where? It will fetch the data from the MySQL database. Okay, it will fetch the data from MySQL database. That means it will fetch the data from this database layer. Okay, the first time. So how we will check like the first time it is going to get the data from this particular transparent table. So you can put the trace over here. So there is a transaction for the trace called ST05. We are having ST12 also, I will show you in later classes that one. That is the latest transaction, but you can use this ST05 as well. This is the old one. So just I'm using this old transaction only. And here the SQL trace and buffer trace option you are having. SQL trace and buffer trace. I'm just going to enable this buffer trace so that I can show you. Currently the system is going to, hit the database or going to get the data from the database, right? Going to hit the database or going to get the data from the buffer, right? Activate the trace, you will have to activate the trace over here. So now trace got activated. I'm just going to run this program now. Okay, it gave me the output. This is the student ID, and now I'm going to just deactivate the trace. Once you deactivate the trace, you can display the trace, and once you display the trace, just run this so that you will see how the data is going to hit. Okay, you can see here that for the sum, for example, this is the table name st05 or underscore trace, so it's getting the data from maybe I don't think so this is a table name. I think table name is, or maybe you can check, it seems it is a table name. So similarly, you are able to see here, these all are the table names. Actually, these all are the object names on which the select query has been fired. Okay, select query has been fired. Fine. So we have to check our table. So what was the our table name? ZMB28 underscore student. So how to check that one? Let me go over here. I will select and I will sort it in the ascending order or descending order maybe, so that I will get my table over here. And you can see over here, this is my table name, and this is got sorted with the help of this. So here also ZMB28 underscore student, you can see the first statement, it is trying to check into the buffer. In buffer it is not found, then it is putting the hit on the database, right? You can see the select query on the database, and again it has filled the record into the database because my buffer is enabled over here. In buffer they have put the value. Okay, and now if you come over here, uh, so what, like fully buffered means it has put all the data. You can see that here it is writing MB28 buffer 25 MB28 some buffer thing it is showing over here, right? And if you go right, it is telling about DB cursor and all. You don't have to bother about that. Okay, so the main thing is this means the first time when you are firing the select query, it is fetching the data from the database and it has put into the buffer. Now the second time, if you are going to select the going to run this particular query, it will not go and hit into the database. It will get the data from the buffer itself. That means you will not be able to see this statement when you will enable the trace. Okay, and by this way your performance is going to be very fast, a lot of fast, because network load and database hit is not there. It is directly fetching the data from the RAM, okay, on application server itself. So lot of performance improvement will be there if you put the timer and check. I will not show you by putting the timer and all, it will take a lot of time, Okay, fine, but I will show you that how you can check. So now if I'm going to run, just first enable the trace over here. Okay, /o sc38, come over here, and what I can, sorry, st05, you have to go to st05 and you have to activate the trace. I'll just activate again and I'm going to run now this program. Run, and it has given me the data. Just deactivate. This time it has not taken the data from the database. It has fetched from it has fetched from it has fetched from buffer itself. You can see over here, and just sort the sort the table so that you will see my database. Where is my database? Other SQL, I'm not able to see my database. I think, what is the problem? 1 second. Okay, go here and I will have to select this one, descending order. Okay, and you can see that here my object is coming, and you can see there is no select query. Directly it is fetching the data from the buffer, right? This is the presentation for the buffer. Okay, so this is how you can check if some select query is getting the data from the buffer or it is hitting the database table. So you can see, you can go further, you can see these are the hit from the database. These are the hit from the database. These are the hit wherever you are able to see the select. That means on that particular table the hit is on the database, right? So fine, hope you understood at least some idea like how to check and how to enable the buffer. If you want to check the performance and all also, you know, without buffer and with buffer, you can start the timer. Let me show you this also. Just LV start. Okay, and here what you can do, you are having one class. Okay, CL underscore runtime control space, and you see that this is the class. And here what you will do, that you are having some method called if runtime, but I think it's get runtime. Okay, co infinite if runtime cl abap runtime. Let me check that class, but I think let us have, you can write get runtime field. This is also one way to find get runtime field, and here you can define some character data type. Okay, so lv underscore start, you can give something like this. Okay, and the same after execution of this query, okay, you can write it over here, and here you can write it end, lv underscore end, and this variable you will have to define. Okay, and the total time lv underscore total execution time you can get, you know, after subtracting this particular value from this particular. This is a idea a bit I have given you how you can do this one. When we will start, when we will go into the programming part there, at that time in detail we will see if we have to measure some performance. Okay, so it's easy actually, you know, to find out. Simply you can subtract this value from this and you can print how much time it's taking. So one with buffer you can check, and another time without buffer you can check. Okay, other important thing regarding buffer is there is a transaction to monitor the buffering /n st10. Okay, so you can go over here in st10 transaction and you can see what are the table that is not buffered. You can see all the table over here, right? And here you can see what is the table which is not buffered. That means the table which is there without buffering. Here you can see which is the table which is the single record buffer. Okay, and here you can see here it's a generic buffer and full buffer. This option is for both generic and full buffer. And the right side you can see from the beginning when this system was installed, right? Sorry, when the beginning when the this database was created, from that time if some uh, means in combination of from that time with that time frame, this that table got buffered or not. So all these things you will be able to see over here. Okay, you can, and here you can give select the application server, right? So on this present application server you can see what is the present application server. So present application server, if you want to check, you can go and check in SM51. Here also we see the application server name, right? System is showing user transaction response time. Okay, so since it is a single application server over here because it's a demo system, but in real time environment you will be able to see the multiple application server. So how to check that multiple application server? You can go to SM51 transaction, and here you can see the application server instances. So this is our application server instances which we are using over here, ECC users underscore EPT underscore 00. Okay, so here even if we are going to put all server, that is the only one instances, so there is no meaning of all server or this server, it's the same, right? And if you are having multiple server and if you want to check for any particular server, so you can select from here, and from here search help you can select that any one of there, because here it's only one, so you are getting only one option over here. Fine. So just I'm going to select all server and show statistics. Once you click on this button, it will start showing the statistics about all the table which has been buffered. So maybe we can search about our table which
Hello. Hello. I think it's just disconnected. Hello, sir. Hello.
hello,
No.
hello. Are you
Hello.
able to hear me? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Sorry, some
Yes.
internet issue was from my side. Yeah, just light gone, and whenever light goes, that broadband connection get disturbed. Sorry for that. Okay, fine. So now I think you are able to see my screen, and uh, yeah. So here, just I was showing you. Let us search about our table ZMB28 underscore student. Okay. So it is in ascending order. You can see over. Are you able to hear me? Hello. Is it fine? Okay, you can just let me know if you are facing some issue over there so that I may be again switch to some another device, some another connection. So please let me know if you face any issue. Okay.
Oh, okay, sir.
Okay, fine. So and now you can click on the sort button and you can sort over here. Okay. So it's already sorted. You can go to last because my table is starting with Z and I can search about my table. ZMBT is something we have created. We are not able to see my table over here. Maybe after some time we will be able to see. Okay. So, but however, we have seen over there in ST05, my table is now enabled, right? My table is now buffered enabled and let me click on this all table once again and I will try to search over there if my table present or not because it should come over there ZMB28 underscore ZMB28. It's not there. It's not there. No issue, but another you can see another Z table if some another user has created and they have opted the full buffer over here. It is showing that for this user for this table, if you can just copy this table, some another person has created, and you can go to slash o SE11 over here and Control V, click on this display button and just I think for testing they have also created. Go to technical setting. So there you can see the fully buffered they have. It's there, right? It's there. So our table also it should appear over here, but it
Hello.
appear over here. Yeah, hello.
Yes, sir.
Okay, just let me connect. Just a second. Just hold on. You were facing some voice problem, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Mm. Let me try once again. Okay, now I think you will not face. Now again I am on broadband. Okay, so go to the system over here. Our table was supposed to show over here, but it is not showing. So maybe after some time we will be able to see over here. So tomorrow maybe once again we can check. Okay, so now here if you double click on any of the field over here, and you can see here the buffering key opt, it is showing here. Also you can see the buffering key opt, the invalidations, right, the total, and here the direct reads, like on this particular table how many total direct reads has been performed. So direct read means the full key has been passed while selecting the query, and that is the meaning of direct reads. Sequential reads means none key, the search has been performed based upon the none key field. That is the meaning of sequential reads. The changes means some changes in this particular database table, or here you can see the total call means total call from the application server to database was made after this. And total rows affected means how much many total rows, means it may be some new record also inserted or some existing record also modified, or due to some swiping kind of stuff also it would have been done. So this is not very important for us, but these all other things like these calls changes, you can go over here and you can see that the table, suppose if you are having some table, for example, for example, maybe I can show you that the direct reads. So just one general guideline I would like to suggest over here. If you are having the direct read, if you are having the direct read, and if your table is small, what you can do, you can enable the single record buffering, because every time you are going to search with the help of a key field, right? If you are having the more sequential read, compared to this direct read, you can enable the you can enable the generic record buffer or full buffer. Okay, so more, and obviously you should have the very least changes, right? Here 00, you can see the 00 changes is there. That means this table is the suitable candidate for the buffering if size and all is okay. If size is not more, means if your table is going to change frequently, you are not supposed to use the buffering concept at all. You can see the 12 is the change here. This is showing, I think, in percentage. Okay, so 12% is means out of 112 times it is going to get changed. But here you can see it's a 110, so I think it is not in percentage, right? So maybe the total call is something like 1118, and out of total this 110 times it was for changes, right? So here it is a high change, so we are not supposed to do. So wherever 00 is there, that is the like for that you can think about the buffering, it can be fine. And wherever you are having the direct reads, here you can see direct read is 700 over here, changes is 0, right? So that means you can enable the single record buffer over here. Okay, you can go for single record buffer. Already full buffer is enabled over here, so you can, what you can do, if you want, you can change this buffering time type from full to single. You can also change the buffering type. Okay, so this is how you can do. Here you can see the generic buffer they have enabled, right? So you can see for the generic buffer the sequential read is high, that means good, it's fine, there is a good thing, right? Here also generic buffer, that means the sequential read is more over here. So this is the standard table, right? This is the standard table. Similarly, I can show you some another stuff over here, right? For the full, because this is the standard table, whichever is not starting with Z or Y, that is going to be a standard table. So you can see here that the total is fine. Here you can see the direct read is 103240, right? This is the direct read, and here this is the sequential read. So by combining all these things, SAP has thought to enable the full buffer, right? So this is how you can check the wherever the more changes will be there, invalidation will be more, right? You can see 574 times changes had been done. So the invalidation, you can see this invalidation flag, 574 times invalidation flag were set. It is telling this particular thing. You can see 1148 times the changes had been made in the database record. So on 148 times, all the all the data got invalid and it was synced, so this is how you can say very good transaction, very wonderful transaction to analyze the data over here. And and if you uh, if you go and analyze, you will get many things over here. You can double click over here and you can see again the more detail about this. So for this particular table, there is no buffering enabled. This is a transparent table. This is a client dependent. Yes, last modified, you can see by whom? By SAP. All these things you can see over here. Similarly, maybe suppose some we are going to take this example. Okay, so maybe full enable or generic enabled we can take. Double click over here, you can see the buffer is generic, table is transparent type, client dependent. All these information also you can get here in detail, right? So total select query was, total select was 162, right? And 126 is the 126 times your query got prepared. Okay, that is the meaning of a preparation. Then see, if it got the 160 times, you have 160 times you have tried to fetch the data from the database, right? But only 126 times your query got prepared. The reason behind it was not able to get the data in buffer 126 times. That's why. Okay, again the opens, that means I don't know exactly about this, what is this open, but this fetch cursor, this open db fetch cursor and all these things, this is the part of native SQL. Maybe in report section I will tell you about that. Okay, fine. So just go back, and similarly you can analyze the data. Similarly, just go back now and hope it's clear for one who has requested to show little more about this. And now you can enable your buffer. So you can check by enabling CY. You can also check by enabling your table uh, uh, with full buffer or maybe single record buffer. Okay, so or maybe you can talk to me privately. I may be able to suggest you the better, like what to choose, fully buffer or single record buffer. So okay, and this way you can get improved your performance fast. Fine. So with this we are going to complete our buffer table, and here I have written this direct reads and all the meaning of all these things which I have just told you, right? And you can go to this blog over here in order to understand the same thing which I have told you over here, because I have referenced the same blog. Okay, fine. Just save it. And now in this the difference between domain and data element. In today's class we will understand about the difference between domain and data element, difference between a value table and check table, append structure, customizing structure, include structure, different types of view, and search help. Okay, we will try to understand this stuff. Let us see how much it is possible. Before going ahead, uh, in last class we have discussed about the pool table and table pool also. So I have created one example in order to make you understand the concept of pool table and table pool in more detail, because what I realized that the example I have given in last class, that was means I was not satisfied with that example. So I've created offline this example over here. Suppose you are having two pool table, for example, just I'm considering Z student as a pool table. Generally pool table is used to store the system information, right? But this is the application data kind of thing. So just forget that part. Just think that this Z student is, suppose if you are having pool table, okay, and Z employee is another pool table. So at database layer it will be stored like this: Z student ID and name. And at here also for this employee at application server, at application server, this is, I'm talking about the application server. Pool table will be always there on the application server, right? So at application server, that means at data dictionary level. Data dictionary means our application server, that means SE11. Okay, so at SE11 or data dictionary, okay, database and data dictionary both is same. Data dictionary means application server and database means database layer. Okay, that means the actual database. So here you can see the Z student, I'm considering this as a pool table. Z employee I'm considering as a pool table, and here the student ID is there and the name is here. Here also employee ID is there and the name of the employee is there. Now both the table will get stored in the table pool inside the database. Okay, inside the database. So database, this table pool has been created in the database. Maybe I can show like this. Okay, and here this is how it gets stored. So there will be one key field over there. In table pool, generally we are having typically we are having these 4 fields: table name, var key, var length, and var data. So in table name, you know, this name of the table will come Z student, and in var key this key will come, right? You are having the key 1 over here, and for the same table you are having, for the same table you are having the second key over here. So table and key combination, table and key combination, right? So table and key combination, okay, is going to create a unique key, and with respect to that unique key your record is going to get maintained. So you can see for this table and this student ID we are having the record RAM. So here the RAM is there in the table pool. Similarly all the records has been stored over here. So this is how table pool behaves. Okay, I have also taken this screenshot from the SAP standard documentation. Okay, you can also go and check on SAP standard documentation, and this is how, you know, clustered in case of cluster table, how the data gets stored. So this is, you are having the cluster table A, this is, you are having cluster table B. Okay, and suppose if you want to store the data, you can store over here. You can see the data are logically related. How logically related? Here you are having the key A, B, right? You are having A and B as the key, and here you can see A, B, E. That means these records dependent on this record. That means logically related. This record also ABG, you can see this is logically related on this ABG. So these records are logically related to each other, right? And these are the suitable candidate. If these are the large table, these are the suitable candidate to
Hello. So, hello.
I think network has gone. Hello.
Yeah. Hello. So, 1, 2.
hello.
Yes.
Yeah, sorry. Again, some internet problem is there. Today I'm facing a lot of internet issue. Okay, so I was talking about the cluster table Okay, so though I have already explained all these things, but again with the better example, I thought let me present you. Okay, so here you can see that AB, this is AB and E is there, right? And so like in two records itself, the data from two tables got stored. So this is how the comparison takes place in cluster table, right? So that's why the cluster table is created, and all the cluster table puts into the table cluster, so that the compression will takes place over there and data gets stored in the compressed format. Okay, so fine, let me save it, and I will now go to the next slides, and I will start defining the difference between domain and data elements. See, so from interview point of this is very important question. What is the difference between domain and data element? Very, very important question. Okay, and from interview point of view, you don't have to go this much detail in buffering and all. Okay, just because the request was there, I have covered in that much detail. You have to remember only for 1 year or 2 years of experience, or even 5 or 6 years of experience, they will not ask this much detail in buffering and all. Okay, so just you will have to remember what are the different kinds of buffer. Generally they will ask this much only, what is the different type of buffer. Okay, so just if you remember the single record buffer, and you should know why the buffer is used. So you should know the buffer is getting used to improve the performance. For 1 or 2 or 3 years of experience, that's sufficient to know the what is buffer, why it is used, and when it should be used. So when it should be used, I have told you that when the data is going to be mostly read, not the change, at that time we are going to use the buffer. Main thing, just remember this, what is the different types of buffer. Okay, and from interview point of view, the secondary index, this is the important one. They will ask they will ask what is the index. Okay, and what is the difference between primary index and secondary index. So primary index gets created by default on the primary key, and secondary index you have to create explicitly by going into AC11 and by giving the none key field. Based upon your requirement, you can create. Fine. So from interview point of view, we have seen most of the things, right? Client dependent and client independent also, this is important. Okay, so you should understand these things. Fine, let's go ahead, and today we will see this difference between domain and data element. What is this domain and what is this data element? Okay, so I'm just going to cut this, and I will create one new slides. I will paste this one, and fine. Or maybe what I will do over here, that I will insert a new layout, and because I have to write the difference, I can write like this. So data element versus domain, data element versus domain. So you can come over here, data element, and you can come over here, the domain. Okay, fine. Let's go to the system, and first I will show you once again. /n AC11, come over here, and the table which we have created is ZMB28 underscore student. Click on this display button, and here you can see this is the field and this is the data element. Okay, so this data element is nothing but to determine the data type, the label. Okay, in SM30 you have seen the label over there, it was coming. Just double click over here, you can see the data element is here, data element, and you can see the field label. So you can define the field label over here in the data element. Okay, the field label you can define. In further characteristic, you can see the search help you can define over here in the data element, right? The parameter ID you can define. What is this parameter ID? I will let you know in coming session. Default component. Okay, what is this default component? I have not used this one. This I know, name, parameter, and parameter ID. This change document. This change document means if you have to log the change on this particular field, you will have to create one change document object. Okay, so if it is enabled, then only you will be able to create and log the changes. Okay, on this, no input history I have not used. So mostly, like if you are able to give this name, parameters, parameter ID, and change a document over here at this data element, you can do. Now you can come over here, this field label I have already shown you, and data type, you are having the option over here, the domain. You can see the domain is getting used in
Hey,
data element. Okay, please mute from your side. Please mute from your side. Okay, fine. So here you can see that inside the data element, we are using the domain over here, right? And if you go inside the domain, you can see in the domain, your actual data type is there, right? So your data element is getting from where the data type? The data type is getting from the domain. So domain gives you the technical description. Domain gives you the technical description. This is the technical, right? You will also get the conversion routine over here at the domain level. If your data type is going to be some sign sensitive, that is means plus minus, or if it is character, then you can even enable the case sensitive uppercase and lowercase. That option is also over here. So all the technical description, you know, what is this conversion routine? Conversion routine is nothing but how the data is going to get stored in your database in their internal format. So whatever we are able to see the data as a human on for example, I will show you over here. Go to SE11 and go to Mara table. Okay, why I'm using Mara? Because already conversion exit is applied over here. You can see the material number. Just focus on this material number. Just click on this content, okay, and run this, and you can see this is how data is getting stored in the uh, in the database layer with the 0, right? 0 0 0 0, the 0 is coming. But if you use it, you know, here you will get the option. Maybe you will get in utility that option. Go to settings. Let me check if that option is there. No, it's not over here. Go to content, go to settings, and user parameters you can select from here. And here you get this option, respect conversion exit, right? If you select this option, okay, then conversion exit it will respect, and you can see now without 0 the data is coming over here, right? Without 0, earlier it was coming with 0. So the way the data gets stored into the database layer and the way how it looks like to the human, both is different. Okay, it may be different. So that's where the conversion exit plays role, and that conversion exit can be defined over here at this particular place. So for the material number, if you check, you know, if you go for this material number, what is the data element? This is the data element, right? You can see under the data element tab, this material MATNR data element is there. If you just double click on this data element, it will take you to this data element. And again, you can see for this data element, the domain name is also same. You can just go into this domain. So now you has come under this domain, you can see, right? And here you can see the conversion exit you are having over here. So this conversion exit is responsible for converting the data from one format to another format, right? From the human readable format to the database readable format, right? So something like that you can understand. This conversion exit is there. So you can put the conversion exit over here. In our case, I have not put it over here. So whatever the way it is there, for me, the same way it's going to store over there. Okay, in value range, you can see that you can give the fixed value over here, right? I have shown you by giving the gender, if you remember. So you can restrict the value by giving the fixed value over here, and you can see the value table also you can define. You can also define the intervals. Okay, so now the value table ZMB28 underscore student and the fixed value, this can also be defined. Let's go here and we will write the difference now. I have shown you all these things from the data element and domain. So the first very important difference is it gives you the semantic meaning. Semantic meaning means what? It gives you the label and all, right? Semantic meaning or semantic description. So data element gives us the semantic meaning or semantic description. Domain is for completely technical description. Okay, completely technical description. Very, very important difference. This is interviewer is willing to listen from you. Okay, if you tell this one, that means sometimes it gets sufficient this much difference only. Okay, so just a second, I'm trying to format it. Okay, no issue. Go to the next point, and next point for the data element, can you tell me what is the other difference you have realized over there? Any one of you, if any other difference, right? You can enable the search help over here, right? The search help option was there. No search help is here. In domain, there is no search help. You cannot enable the search help over here. No search help. Okay. You can also see here the parameter you can give. Parameter, I will let you know detail about this. What is this parameter? But this is not the right time. Okay. Parameter option is here. Here no parameter. Okay. No parameter. And one again, like one data one data element can use only one domain at a time. One data element can use one domain at a time. But here one domain can be used in multiple data element, right? One domain can be used in multiple data element. Multiple data element you can use one domain, right? Then here maybe you can write some more for the domain. You can put the value restriction by entering the fixed value. Okay, so restrict the input value by maintaining the value under fixed value, right? So fixed value, just I've shown you the fixed value is nothing but over here. You can maintain the value and you can restrict the value. Here nothing like that. At data element level you cannot do like that. No restriction here can be applied at the database layer. No restriction, no such restriction as domain. Okay, and another important difference, maybe I can write it here itself. This is the important one. Value table you can define over here. Value table define. Value table can be defined for this value table you can define for this domain. At domain level, value table can be defined at domain level. At domain level. You cannot define the value table at data element level, right? No value table at data element level. Okay, so here also there are many differences, like change log you can enable, disable, but the important difference is like this one, the semantic meaning. If you tell the semantic meaning, everything will cover. Okay, and this is for the technical description. Another, you can tell the value table is defined, and this one, restrict the input value by the maintaining the value. So these are the important one. The conversion routine also you can tell about. At the domain level, the conversion exit is there, conversion routine is there, just I have shown you. So which is responsible to so maybe you can write it over here, the conversion exit. No conversion exit over here. No conversion exit. Hope it's clear for all of you. If you have any doubt over here, please let me know, because it's going to be very, very important interview question. Okay, it's going to be very, very important interview question. Data element and domain. Another important concept is append structure and include structure. We will see the customizing structure. This is a standard concept. Letter control V. Append structure and include structure. What is this? What is the meaning of this append structure and include structure? Okay, go to the system and we will go into, first we will understand about the include structure. So here you can see in the standard database table, you are having, in the field section, you are having one dot include option over here, dot include. And here you can see that EMARA is one structure you are having. This is actually your structure. So first let us understand the structure, then we will be able to better understand about include structure and append structure. Okay, so first we will understand about the structure. What is a structure? So a structure is nothing but, a structure is nothing but it is similar to table only. But in table, you can see there are many things, the technical settings, indexes, append structure, because it stores the physical record. It stores the physical data. That's why the settings is required. That's why the indexes is required. That's why, if you want to append, if you want to enhance your table, so append structure is required. So different properties here. But now the thing is that if you are going to create any structure, maybe we are having already one structure called Mara. Okay, so the eMara table name is Mara, but eMara is the structure name. You can click on this display button, right? You can click on this display button and you can see it is coming under the structure section. And you might have observed in table section itself, in database table section itself, I have given this structure name and it was able to display me, right? It was able to display in table section itself by giving the value over here. All right, just a second.
Hello, sir. Hello, sir. Hello.
I was talking about a structure in the table section itself, uh, yeah. So in table section itself, you can give the structure name over here and you will be able to display the structure. Okay, you can see the structure is coming over here and you are able to see the structure. You can see in a structure, there is no technical setting, right? There is no size category. There is no maintenance required, only the field is there. In a structure, you are having only the field you are having, nothing more than this. So you don't require any technical settings, you don't require any size category, you don't require any data class, right? You don't require any other technical detail, because it is just a structure, it is just a template. Okay. Fine. So just go back and we will create one structure first, and then we will see like how we can how we can create the append structure and how we can create the include structure, right? So I'm going to create one structure, ZMB 28. The S I'm just giving to denote the structure, and demo, name of the structure is giving demo. Click on this create button. You can see that here the three option is coming. Data element already by double clicking over there itself you can create the data element, or from here also you can create the data element. Okay, I'm going to create the structure, so I'm selecting this structure option over here, click on this OK button, and here the demo structure I'm just going to give. And suppose in a student table we have created this student table, right? We have created, let me close some session. Okay, just closing some session over here. Fine. So fine, so this structure I want to create, so simply you can include some field, whatever you want the field over here, that field you can include, maybe any field. For example, if you want to give some student ID or a student name, okay, or maybe age, or whatever field you want to give, you can give over here. Types, and the component here you can give maybe simply I'm just going to show you car 20, car 30, and maybe any car 5 like that, or car 4, something like that. I'm just giving this, save it in local object, check the syntax, and some error it is giving, find domain used not active. Okay, just go back. Car 4 actually I'm supposed to write, press enter, just save it, check the syntax, now it is fine. Just go back, activate it. So warning you can ignore. Okay, the yellow color you can ignore, the red color you cannot ignore. Fine, so it got activated and your structure got created, right? This is structure, this is how the structure you can create. It's very easy to create the structure. Okay, now include a structure. What is include a structure? So any structure if you have created over here, you know, any structure, suppose if you are going to create I'm going to give here, instead of a student ID, suppose if you are going to give some another field, something like, you know, a student interest. Okay, means or hobby, what is its hobby, something like that. I'm going to create a field, and then a student, I want to create some another field, maybe I can take some another field here. Just I'm thinking to get a student hair color maybe. Okay, and just two fields, let it be like that. The already age and all I think I have used over there, so that's why I'm not trying to use over here. Remove this particular field. Okay, just save it. Okay, so this is one structure. Again, I'm just going to activate this one, and suppose this structure you want to use as a include structure. Okay, this structure you want to use as a include structure. So just copy this structure, go to your table SE11 which you have created. Okay, so what is the table which you have created? This is the table which you have created earlier. Go into change mode, and here you want to add two more field, okay, which is there in this structure. A student hobby, this student hair color, this two more field you want to add over here. So what you can do, either you can manually add these two field, right? Manually you can add, or else directly you can include this structure over here. Directly you can include this structure over here, and automatically both two field from that structure will be coming over here, will come over here. So how to do that? Just give dot include over here. You have to give the dot include under the field section, and come over here, paste the name of the structure and press enter, save it, check the syntax. Okay, there is no problem, it's in yellow color, you can ignore it. Click on the activate button. Once you activate this one, you know, you will not have to bother, and now this structure got included, and the both two field also will appear over here. But now you can see it is not appearing. So what you will do, you can go into display mode, and once you go into display mode, go to back and click on, once again come over here, you can see the two field got included over here. So this is how you can use the structure as an include structure. Okay, so this is how you can use the structure as an include structure. One thing is also that this include structure you can include anywhere. Here also, you know, after the key field, anywhere you can include, anywhere you can include this. This location is not fixed. Anywhere you can include and it will work. If you are going to get some error, you can simply go to utility, go to database object as I have shown you earlier, and go to database utility, and from there you can adjust and activate, or you can use the transaction SE14 as I have shown you earlier. Fine. Now, what is append structure? What is the requirement of append structure? Actually, suppose if we are having some standard table, for example, MAKT table, okay, material description table. This is one table we are having. This table, suppose tomorrow if you want to include, or if you want to append a new field over here in the standard table, so a standard table you will not be able to change it, right? If you try to change, it will not allow you to change. Why? The reason behind SAP, you know, SAP prevents its access, because any people will not go and do whatever they want to do, right? So you can see this name is starting with M, that means not starting with Y or Z. That means it is not changeable. Anything which is you have created, that means anything which is started with Y or Z, that only you are able to supposed to change, other thing not. But my requirement is something like that. I want to, you know, append some field over here. I want to include some field in this standard table. Okay, so for that purpose, the append structure concept is there, you know. So append structure you cannot create from, you know, here. You cannot create from where? From here, as we have created for the include structure, right? I have went over here, I gave over here, you know, and here I have selected the structure, right? So append structure you cannot create by this way. To create the append structure, there is a button over here, append structure. For whatever table you want to create the append structure, you can go into that table and you can click on this append structure, and append structure every time will be appended at last, at its name suggests. Append means at last it will get append. It will never come in between. Okay, it will never come in between. So append structure will always come at last. So give over here Z append, okay, or maybe any name you can give, Z test or whatever valid name, some valid name you will have to give. So just I'm giving ZMB demo. Okay, click on this OK button, and I want to give here some, you know, just demo option kind of things I'm just going to give. Okay, and you can give some field over here, any field, some test field or demo field. I'm just going to write here some field, maybe field 1 or demo field. I will write like this one, and typing method I will select the simple one, char 20 something or char 30. I will give it over here. Just save it. 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, whatever fields you want to include, you can include. There is no limitation of field over here. Local object, and just activate it. Okay, once you will activate, maybe it will take some time. Okay, because it has to adjust the original table MAKT, right? Because it's going to get appended. It is a similar way like someone is coming into your home, okay, and you have to prepare the things, you have to prepare the you know, everything for him. Like you have to welcome for him, you have to uh, take some chair, you have to take some sofa, you have to prepare some tea, something like that. So similarly, the new structure is going to sit over there in the standard one, and now a standard table is just welcoming this new G structure, right? So for that, it has to take some necessary action. So just it is getting adjusted, it is just trying to get adjust over there, and already there are many fields over many contents over there, right? Many data is there in the MAKT table. So the data also is going to get adjust accordingly, because you are just going to, you know, append some new field over there. That's why it will take some time. So no worries. Meanwhile, I can write the differences between append structure and include structure, right? So this also I will take, and I will create one more slides, and right click, layout, and this layout I will change. So append structure versus include structure, but maybe first I will write include structure, and all the field will be have as a normal field. Once the field will get appended over here or included over there, okay, it will be have like a normal field. Include structure versus append structure. Let me make little small, so I will get some space over here. Okay, fine. So the include structure, this is also one important interview question. Okay, interviewer can ask. So this whole data dictionary is going to be very, very important. Okay, so the include structure. So include structure, means you can create from SE11 as a data type, right? And it can be included anywhere in the database table, right? So it can be included anywhere in the table, right? It will be appended only at last. Okay, this is a mechanism to enhance the SAP standard table. SAP standard table. Okay, include structure, you cannot use this one. You cannot use this custom include, right? Which you are trying to create yourself. You cannot use this include structure created by you. Okay, you cannot use this include structure in standard table. You cannot use. Okay, you have to create the append structure by clicking on that append button. Okay, so it's still taking some time because it has to do a lot of work, right? Fine, no problem. Just come over here. So these two difference you understood. Another difference is that the first difference we have written, second we have written. What can be another difference? Okay, so actually the SAP is having one concept called customizing include. So SAP itself gives some include. That include you can use as a customizing include. Okay, that SAP customizing include, maybe it will make you confusion over here. As of now, just to understand, this much two difference is sufficient. It can be included anywhere in the table. Okay, it will be appended only at last. This is, you cannot use this include structure in a standard table, right? But this append structure you can use in the standard table, and that's how a standard table you can enhance. So this is a mechanism to enhance the standard table. Okay, value table and check table, again very important interview question. Value table and value table and value table and check table, very, very important. Okay, value table versus check table. So what is the difference between value table and check table, right? So any one of you, can you tell me what is the difference between value table and check table over here? I have already told you. Any one of you? You can ping me or unmute your line and you can just tell me, so that a session bit will be little interactive over here. I'm just giving at left side the value table, and at right I'm just going to give the check table. All right. Okay. So see here, the value table you can define at the domain level, right? Define at domain level. And where you can define the check table? Check table you can define at the field at the field level, right? Check table can be defined at the field level. Is defined at field level, means table field level. When I tell the field, that means table field. You have seen field level using referential integrity, right? When you define the, this value table will be proposed as a, as a check table
Hello, sir.
Okay, fine. So again, some network issue was there, guys. So here you can see the value table will be proposed as a check table when you are going to create the check table, right, at the database layer. So this is the this is the important differences. There are some more differences which is there. Whatever you will put as a check table, that will appear as a search help. Okay, so check table can be appeared as a search help. So I will show you the meaning of this. Okay, here you can see that now it is about to activate. I'm just going, it is showing that some warning is there. So warning we can ignore. I don't want to see any warning over here. Click on this no button. Okay, and it got activated, right? So this append structure got activated, and if you go back, if you go back here, and you can see that this particular structure, for this particular append structure, one extra field got appended over here. And now if you want, you can maintain some field over here, right, with the help of like a standard application and all. So this is how you can use the how you can append the any standard table. In between you cannot put. Okay, fine. So check table and value table I was talking about. Just go once again over here in JDMB28 student, click on this display button and click on this content, right? So you can see it's deleting some program, and it's again creating the region behind. I have included some new field. Okay, here at a student ID you can see the search help is coming over here, right? When I'm pressing F4, all the student ID is coming over here like this. From where it is coming, why it is coming, the search help. Other here you can see there is no search help, nothing is there, right? Nothing is here, but here it's coming. right? And for gender it will come because the fixed you have given over there, right? The fixed value M and F you have given at the domain level, so that's why it is coming from there. But for the student ID also it is coming, right? From where it's coming, the reason behind it is coming from the check table. For this student ID you have defined a check table, right? You can see that you have defined here. You will not be able to see, just come click on this input help or check, and here you will be able to see, right? So data element, the student IG coming from here. Okay, it's not here actually. So you can come over here at this domain, and it's taking from the, it's taking from this value table. So here the value table you can see over here. Double click over here. The value table is nothing but your that table itself, right? And all the 1 2 3 4 4 6 7, that is student ID is there, and that's where it is coming. So you can see from where it's help. Okay, both can be used as a search help, as you can see over here. Right, you can see over here, click on this content, and you can see over here the search help is coming. So you can write it down over here. The value table will be proposed as a check table when you are going to create the check table, right? And the check table can be appeared as a search help. Value table also can be appeared as a search help content, right? Here you can write that has become similarity. The difference you can write it over here, that check table, check table holds good for referential integrity, right? Like referential integrity. Once you define the check table, right, you will not be able to enter the invalid record which is not there in their check table. So you will be able to put only those record which is there in the check table. So check table holds good for referential integrity. So these two difference you can note it down. Okay, fine, just save it, and for today we are going to stop here itself. Okay, let me go to this PPT, and some more thing is left, I think. Different view. Okay, we will see this different view, search help, and customizing structure in our coming class. Okay, so if you have any question over here, any one of you, if you have any question, feel free to discuss. This is the right time, right place to discuss. Okay, any question related with any of the concept, all this concept is very, very important. Okay, any question? Hello?
No, sir. No.
No question, right? Fine, then let's stop over here. And
No, sir,
one thing,
shared video. I have not received a video also.
okay, I will yesterday video, right?
No, sir. Yesterday and day before